Alright, here is a word I didn't think I have ever used to describe a comic before. Masterpiece. This is a masterpiece by my favourite writer, Mark, and you've probably never even heard of this comic before. This is What If issue 32. It's what if the Avengers had become prawns of Korvac Dallas. This is spinning out of the Ad Avengers story with Korvac Dallas, and it's brilliant. Mark, he's probably best known as a writer and an editor, but he also dabbled in doing artwork at times. And on top of writing and editing this comic, he also does all the layouts for the whole thing. If you didn't know about the Korvac Dallas saga, you're told at the start, but all you really need to know is that the Avengers, they fought against one of them obscenely powerful cosmic god characters like the Beyonder Man or Genesis. This one, it was called Korvac Dallas, and they eventually were able to come out on top. But this story is asking, what if the Avengers did not win? We get a little bit of extra backstory on Korvac Dallas, his origin, how he was like a machine god from the future, and how he came to Earth and moved into a house, and he fell in love with a woman, and then the Avengers and the Galactical Guardians, they teamed up to try and stop him. Korvac Dallas, though, he wants to rule over the universe. He wants to assert order onto everything. There were loads and loads and loads of Avengers in that original story, and he was defeated when he was fighting them all. But then he looked over and he saw doubt in his lover's face. And he accepted that he might be wrong, that his dream might be flawed, so he sacrificed himself and reversed everything he did. But this one, it's saying, what if when he looked over, he didn't see that flicker of doubt in her face? So instead, he perseveres and he defeats the Avengers, he kills them, and then Moon Garden, the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Moon Garden, we love her a lot, she steps out of the shadows and pledges allegiance to Korvac Dallas. But he just kills her straight away because, well, he might be a super god man, but he's also a massive idiot. If I was him, I would dump his lassie here, who clearly doesn't even believe in him, and instead I'd marry Moon Garden here, because she's brilliant, she's the best. I love this story so much. Here we see some of the big players in the Marvel Universe getting sense of what is happening. They're all reacting to something cosmic going on, which, as you know, I fucking love. Over in Fairyland, Anthony Hopkins, he learns that Thor has just died fighting Korvac Dallas, and he's really upset, and he'll probably get an Oscar for this. The same with Liam Neeson from Clash of the Titans. He finds out that Hercules Man has died as well, but to prevent interference from outside sources like them, Korvac Dallas, he erects like a shield, like a barrier around the planet to stop like all the gods and Satan and time travelers like Kronos from coming to Earth and opposing them. Then he quickly dispatches of the few Earthbound heroes that he considers an actual threat. We got Doctor Strange, we got the stupid Orr from the Excellent Men, Silver Surfman, and he just like wishes them away with his hand, like these characters often do. Then he goes to confront the Celestials, and the Celestials, they do now, because the Celestials never do out. Korvac Dallas, he realises that he's actually going to need some soldiers and some agents to try and combat all the forces that will conspire against him. So he resurrects the most powerful of the Avengers and the Galactical Guardians, and they're like they're like under his control now. So we got Thor, we got Iron Man, we got Star-Lord, we got the Vision, we got Hercules Man, and we got Wonder Man, which is Wonder Woman when she transitioned. And that's nice though, including him slash her slash them slash it slash who. Well, it means that this isn't just a white male incel sausage fest. Then he resurrects some more characters. He resurrects the heroes with extrasensory abilities to act as like his warning systems and to detect when something cosmic is going on. So he has brought back Moon Garden, presumably for sex reasons, Captain Marbles, the real one, Marvel, Miss Marbles, Karen Daggers, before they ruined her by making her into Brie Larson's, and finally the Fembot. This issue, it has an assortment of inkers. There's like 36 different inkers or something, and there's some really big names doing the inkering as well, like Ant Miller and Jason Byrne. They're all credited here, so pause if you want to see that. They're called the Funky Bunch, I suppose. But this is really Marky Mark's project. Korvac Dallas, he sends the main team to Gan and beat up the big baby in a nappy who lives on the moon. And the big baby in a nappy, he just runs away like a big baby. He goes to his home planet called the Nursery. And he's trying to convince all the other big babies to help him fight against Korvac Dallas. But the thing is, the other big babies, they're just more interested in things like rattles and cookies and long-term financial planning and all them things that babies are mad into. It's a bit like that film Boss Baby with Adam Baldwin. It's just like that. So the baby instead, he goes and he assembles all the big abstract cosmic entities in the Marvel universe, and this is the first time this ever happened. All these big cosmic concepts brought together. Jim Starman, he does this like in every story, and it's become something of a common occurrence. And it all started here. It started here with Marky Mark, and he doesn't ever get any credit for it. I've been wanting to review this comic for ages, but I've always put off doing it because I've never known what to say, because I've got nothing to say, nothing but pure love for this book. It's amazing. So this union, this cosmic union, because, you know, Marky Mark, he loves his unions, doesn't he? They discuss what to do, and the rest of the story, it revolves around these big cosmic entities like Galactus Man fighting Korvac Dallas, and I didn't want to spoil the story. It's really good, really good. We've got an amazing scene here with Jeff Goldblum from Thor: The Dark World. This is referring to continuity, because Korvac Dallas, his first appearance was in a Defenders annual, and it involved Jeff Goldblum from Thor: The Dark World. This comic, it's a proper recommend. No matter what, go and read this. It's fantastic. Look, it's Captain America there, and this is the first time we find out what the Ultra Nelly Furtada does. You know, the little trigger gun thing from Stanley Lee and Jack Quimby Fantastic Force. This comic's the first time we see what happens when you pull the trigger. But I'm going to skip to the end, because I will spoil the ending, because it's really notable, and it has obviously been copied so much. Like, this really is the template for almost all of Jim Starman's funniest stories. What happens is, all of the universe shows up to try and stop Korvac Dallas. And then, in a fit of anger, Korvac Dallas, he responds by using the Ultra Nelly Furtada to completely destroy all of existence. The entire universe, it's just destroyed. And I mean, look at this page. This is like pure Jim Starman. Jim Starman, he has based his entire career on this page here. Like, even the sequential panels of Lady Death opening her gob, that's like textbook Jim Starman. But it's not. This is Marky Mark. He did the writing, he did the art. This is what he could achieve with complete freedom, and it's beautiful. This is really a masterpiece. There's no other word I can think that best describes it. This is like the best parts of his Kazar run. If you are a fan of Fania stories, if you're a fan of Jim Starman, if you're a fan of the big Marvel cosmic stories, track this down. This is so influential and brilliant, and it really does upset us a bit that Mark does not get the credit he deserves for just how much of the foundation he laid in this single issue of What If for all those big Affinity crossover storylines. There is actually a sequel to this. He did like a short little story in the backup of a comic. I can't remember where it was though. But this is 100% 7 thumbs up. Fucking go and buy this comic right now. If you cannot afford it, then kill someone who owns it. And then, when you go into prison, at least you'll have a good comic to read.